Welcome back to Summarize Science. Why do advanced AIs sometimes confidently invent facts, a phenomenon known as hallucination? A new paper titled Stable but Miscalibrated suggests the answer might lie with an 18th century philosopher, Immanuel Kant. The core idea is to view Kant's theory of human reason not as abstract philosophy, but as a blueprint for a stable feedback system. Kant argued that our reason must stay within the bounds of possible experience to avoid generating nonsense. In engineering terms, this is like a control system that needs to remain stable to function correctly. The researchers formalize this by modeling the AI's reasoning process like a Kalman filter, a classic tool that balances prior beliefs with new evidence. When this internal feedback loop becomes unstable, the system's inferences become unreliable, even if it seems coherent on the surface. To measure this instability, the paper introduces a composite index called H-risk. Think of H-risk as a single score that gauges how close an AI's reasoning is to breaking down. It combines 4 different mathematical measures of fragility into one warning light for epistemic instability. These 4 factors measure things like the system's proximity to chaos, its sensitivity to small disturbances, and how much it amplifies noise. Together, they quantify the risk of what Kant called transcendental illusion, which is the paper's analogy for overconfident errors. A high H-risk score suggests the AI's internal dynamics are both fragile and overconfident. The researchers first tested this on a controlled, linear Gaussian simulation. This graph is the key result. As their H-risk instability score on the x-axis increases, the system's miscalibration, a measure of overconfidence, also increases linearly. This provided the first piece of evidence that their H-risk score really does predict overconfident errors. Next, they extended this framework to complex large language models. The goal was to see if this Kantian idea of critique could stabilize the model. They tested prompts designed to make the AI review and correct its own reasoning process. But the results were surprisingly mixed. As you can see in this plot, certain critique-style prompts, shown as C1 and C2, actually pushed the model to be less calibrated than the baseline. The authors suggest this is a kind of over-reflection, where too much self-critique makes the AI less certain and paradoxically less accurate. In a way, it's a computational example of reason undermining its own stability by turning against itself. So, let's recap the important points. This paper brilliantly connects Kant's 250-year-old philosophy to the modern problem of AI overconfidence. They created a metric, H-risk, which successfully predicts when a system's internal reasoning will become unstable and lead to miscalibrated outputs. And they showed that simply asking an AI to be more critical isn't a silver bullet and can sometimes make things worse. What this means for the future is a new, principled way to diagnose instability in AI systems. Instead of just fixing bad outputs, we could one day monitor the internal health of a model's reasoning process. This could be a crucial step toward building AI that is not just more powerful, but fundamentally more trustworthy and reliable. It's a fantastic reminder that sometimes the most innovative ideas come from looking at old problems through a new lens. Thanks for watching Summarize Science. We'll see you in the next one.